Hello and welcome back to the Beat Down Betas podcast. I'm Colin, and this is season 5, episode 3 of the podcast. So as promised, I wanted to kind of do a kind of like a tier maker. It's March. We want to hit some type of brackets or some type of rankings, things like that. So hopefully, like next week or the week after, I'll do some type of like a traditional bracket of some sort. But right now, something I've wanted to do since season 20 dropped, and I haven't done it for a few seasons, is a tier maker on the legends for season 20 in Apex Legends. So we're just gonna jump right into that and get going on that. So let me share my screen here as we're gonna kind of run through this and tackle this. I'm just gonna kind of go in order. So I guess this is, if it's starting with Ash and ending with Wraith, this is alphabetical. So we're gonna hit alphabetically. We're gonna go through these legends and talk about them. So I'm gonna be super brief. I'm gonna keep this as quick as possible. I'm not gonna do a total breakdown. Again, this is very subjective. There are some legends that others can play and they're amazing. They would consider them S tier. I would consider them F tier. It's all just opinion based, so nobody get your feelings hurt. If your favorite legend I rank low, or somebody you think sucks, I rate high. It's all opinion based. There are some people, and we all know, like Mirage is not ever going to be like a meta pick. Everybody understands that, but there are some Mirages out there that are amazing, right? There are some Vantages out there, amazing. So it all depends on the person. I am a very average player, so just keep that in mind. So I think I did this a long time ago prior to even doing the podcast. I did this for Rainbow Six, and oh my God, let's just say comments were not great. So we'll just go from there. Again, opinion based. No, nobody get their feelings hurt. It's all okay. So, I'm gonna go with Ash here. So, Ash, while actually getting an upgrade, I think in my opinion, Ash last season was the worst legend in season 19. So she did actually get buffed. There was no nerfs because some of the legends had got nerfed going into the season, and then their buffs or their upgrade options were basically reverting those buffs. So with Ash, she actually did get some buffs, slightly better tacticals, things like that. But again, I think she's just better now. Again, she's not great. She's not in the meta or anything like that. I think it would have been better for her to have her ultimate upgraded somehow. I don't know, if like a distance or something. I am horrible at her ultimate for some reason. It's just like every portal, like it looks like I'm putting it at max distance, and then it's like 5 feet in front of me. I don't know why. It's really bad. Her portal is just really bad for me. So there we go. Ballistic. Well, I don't think ballistic. Well, he might be. So it's like, I don't know if ballistic is the worst legend in my opinion. I'm gonna put him at F tier. Again, I think his ultimate, like, it's a farther distance now. It was like 15 meters. Now it's 90. Forgive me if I'm miscounting those numbers, but it was something like that. So he actually did get an upgrade in that sense. I just don't think like he brings a ton of things to the game. Also his like the sling, only getting like the white attachments type of thing during his buff, like that's kind of weird to me. Why he kind of got a bit of a nerf. It just seems very odd. So like somebody like Ballistic, who just wasn't a high pick, and wasn't very good regardless. So because he got that nerf to his sling, and he still just doesn't offer, I think, a ton to everybody. I have him as an F tier. So next is Bang. I think Bangalore is always going to be A or S tier. I'm gonna put her in S tier. I think she just offers so much. The ultimate abilities are really good for her, or excuse me, her upgrades are really good for her. Her ultimate is still extremely powerful, and now you can speed that up through that upgrade tree. I think is great. You can ping people that when you get that double time. She's got that option of like healing in the smoke, which I don't think anybody would or should pick, but that is an option. So I think just the simple fact that she basically just got upgraded basically and buffed this season, I think is great for her. So I think I would put her as like a or B tier, like she's perpetually that way because she's always been very balanced and a really high pick. I think I think she's moved up, so I think she's S tier now. Bloodhound. So I think Bloodhound is probably an A tier. I'm looking at my notes here. I forget what I kind of wrote down. Again, he's very meta. He's probably the best recon. I would think he's probably the best recon character at this point. Um, I'm not a huge fan. Every time I try to play Bloodhound in his ultimate, for some reason, I just the speed either throws me off. Like I feel like I don't hit as many shots with it. It's probably because I just don't play a lot of Bloodhound. I'm guessing if I just sat there and just grind with him, I'm sure I would figure it out. But for me, I'm gonna put him in S tier or put them in S tier, excuse me. So I'll put them in S tier just because like I can't figure out that speed. Like it just throws me off. Or put them in A tier. But again, I understand best recon character by probably quite a bit. The scan meta, again, you can buff that scan, things like that. So Bloodhounds, definitely an A tier. Catalyst, I mean Catalyst, I think last season, last couple seasons have been definitely like S tier. I think I think I'm gonna knock Catalyst down. Let me go ahead and put. I'm gonna put Catalyst in B tier. I think the spikes and the passive abilities of blocking off the doors are amazing. I think her ultimate has gotten nerfed quite a bit. But Catalyst is still very good. I think the only thing that's frustrating is like she got nerfed with her abilities this season, and then the upgrades basically reverted back. So I guess that makes her good, but she's not getting anything additional like most of the other legends did. So I'll put her in B tier. One, like her pick rate went obviously way down. And then I feel like her ultimate is really only like extremely useful like late game, or rotational at times. But with it being nerfed, basically, that's kind of the frustration and why she's dropped down a little bit. So I'll put her in B tier. Still really good. Caustic. I mean, I think Caustic's always going to be like A tier. I think he had probably like one season where he was just whatever that was, like season 14, 15, somewhere thereabouts, where he was just amazing. Everybody was playing him. I still think Caustic is A tier. I was totally wrong about that ultimate upgrade, like the just a bigger ultimate. I thought like, man, that's like so situational, but oh my God. Like there was a game where I was like guaranteed win. We had the best positioning and just a Caustic ultimate just totally screwed that up. So yeah, I think it's situational, but there's tons of situations where that ultimate is amazing, and obviously just the constant barrels that you can have. While not a ton of damage, have the slowing effect, can block doors, lock up spaces. You're immune to other caustics. So yeah, caustic, A tier, by far, if not S tier. I mean, he's right up there. Conduit, I think meta wise, Conduit is she's gonna get nerfed. I think a lot in the next couple seasons. I think she's gonna get hit pretty hard. There's nothing more obnoxious right now. There's probably two legends right now that I just can't stand fighting. But one of those is Conduit. Man, like I hate doing so much damage and then 5.5 seconds later, you're fighting, and they're basically fully healed again. Like that's so obnoxious. She's got to get nerfed into the ground. But right now, like I feel like if you're gonna play competitively, I mean, she may not be in the ALGS meta right now, but I think like a ranked meta and stuff, Conduit is extremely powerful. So I think until she is like nerfed, she's S tier. Crypto. I mean, crypto is so hard because crypto might be the hardest legend to pick. I think crypto still has, I think, the highest ceiling. There are S tier cryptos out there, but there are a lot of F tier cryptos. So I'm gonna put him in the middle. I think I'm gonna put him in like a D. I think maybe for now. He does have a lot of upsides. He definitely got buffs this season. Um, for sure. Between the tactical being a little faster, I think you can get in and out of it faster. Obviously, the upgraded buff. So he's got better abilities. But I think one, you have to be communicating as a team. He's such a team-based character that if you're not working as a team or you're soloing as crypto, like you're only hurting the team. So I'm gonna put him D tier, but again, crypto is by far the one that could go into every category, based on virtually who is playing that person and how much they're communicating with their teammates. So again, crypto, I think in general lower tier, but again, the great ones are definitely more of a B, A, or S tier. Fuse again, one of those more annoying legends to play against. If there's a really good Fuse out there, he got buffs. He might be like C tier. I think, in my opinion. Uh, Fuse again, fighting against a good Fuse is really tough. His upgrades this season, the upgrade trees that he has are pretty good. I think the double time. Is not as useful as what people thought it was going to be. Like you're hitting somebody and you're getting double time. Like it's not quite as impactful as what I thought it was originally going to be. And then the ultimate ability of being able to get through your own fire, I forget what that's called. But that ability of like being able to get through your fire with less damage is impactful because a lot of times like it's a panic ultimate. Like if you're in a room and you're thinking like, okay, I can get this out, and you a lot of times like end up burning yourself. I've seen tons of fuses like end up ending their own life because of the because of that ultimate inside of a building. So that's something to, I guess, keep in mind for some of the fuses, but that's a good upgrade. So again, I think he's middle of the pack. He's not as impactful as maybe what he had been in the past. But again, still really good. So kind of middle of the pack, I think, for Fuse. Gibraltar, I think he's pretty good. I'm not a big Gibraltar person. I think he's a B tier legend. I think he's got amazing abilities. He can be very defensive and offensive, and I think honestly, the thing that I noticed, I've only played like 2 games of Gibraltar this season. I haven't played him much. But I wanted to see like really how impactful the animation was because his was so bad. Even though it's not changing the game, I think honestly the animation boost has actually made him better, which is weird to say. It just doesn't feel like as slow or sluggish or whatever. So I think he's decent. I think he's good. Again, a very good ultimate ability. I'm not a big fan of like the bubble changes for his upgrades because previously, Gibraltar has bounced from the worst legend in the game early on to the best legend in the game. So dude's been all over. So he was the worst legend for like the first 3 seasons or so. So I like where he is now. I think he's kind of middle of the pack again. And I think that's probably a good spot for him. Horizon, I wanted to say like she's almost like S tier, but I think she's more in like an A or a B tier. She only got nerfed, and her upgrades, or she's only been nerfed, and her upgrades this season just I don't think do anything really. So I don't think her upgrade tree is great. So she's definitely gone down where she's been S tier the last several, well, really since she's came into the game. She's definitely been bumped down a little bit. So Horizon, decent, but she's definitely died off. There's just not as many of them anymore, which is also kind of nice. Lifeline. Um, man, like uh Lifeline might be like I'm trying to determine probably C tier. Yeah, I feel like that's good for her. She's she's like a better Newcastle. I think um she's got really good upgrades. She might have like the best upgrades of the season, like through the upgrade tree, with a faster or better ultimate with that with a care package gun in it, the faster revives. She's got the smallest hitbox in the game, I think, between her and Wraith. I think she's got the smallest. So I think she's very viable. High level, probably not so much. Although she is being played in the ALGS a little bit right now again, which is weird to see. But she is still I think really good at any level of ranked. So yeah, I think she's good. So I'm gonna put her C tier. Loba, I think Loba is probably like an A tier. I think what's nice about her as a support legend, she has that mobile option, which nobody else really has. She's great solo because of the loot and it speeds up looting. She's got the option of adding another piece of loot for herself, which is a great upgrade for her. So I think she's A tier. I think yeah, A tier. So she might, outside of like the revives, which definitely is like that lifeline Newcastle range. I think for support, to speed up that looting for your team, and giving her that mobile option, I think she's A tier. It's one of the worst mobility options because of the delay with it, and you can see it really easily, and hear it. But it still gives her that option of getting caught up or getting out of a crappy situation. So I think she's A tier. In late game, like when you're running out of heals and ammo and stuff, that's pretty massive to be able to get that ultimate off. Mad Maggie. So Mad Maggie has had quite the ride. So I'm gonna put her in B tier. I think she had really unique upgrades. I just feel it's very situational. She's fairly useless in open areas or at a distance. I mean, if you want to think about like her wanting to have a shotgun, and her like the ball and the riot drills, even with upgrades, they're not great in an open area. You get her into a building or have a team hiding behind something. Mad Maggie's going to win that 90% of the time. So she's very situational. Where she wasn't great, I think last season, like a lower E D tier, she only got buffed. So she's definitely gone up, and everything got buffed for her. So her upgrades are amazing. When you do those, I mean the ball, just adding more stability to that, and then the thermite explosion from it, and the ability for it to not just break right off of the bat is amazing. So yeah, I think B tier for her. Again, she's very situational and map dependent. But again, really strong legend. Mirage is again like one of those ones where not necessarily situational, but like I think if you're good or enjoy like the chaos aspect, I think Mirage is better than most people give him credit for. I think most people understand Mirage is pretty good. He's just not a meta person. But man, like chaos and fights, the ability like the Invisa revive is amazing. Again, some of it's just very situational type of based stuff. And I'm not a big fan of his upgrades. I kind of want to almost like say like he's D tier, but maybe I'll just put him down there. The only thing I didn't like with his buffs is basically just more decoys. I wish there was some type of other option. I don't know what that is, but I'm not a huge fan of like here's just more decoys as kind of his upgrades. So it's okay. I mean that's what that's what causes all that chaos. And that's why he's definitely not the worst legend in the game. And again, he's one of these people that a really good Mirage player can be up a lot higher. So yeah, there's Mirage. Newcastle, I'm just gonna put below Lifeline. And none of these are rated, by the way. There's it's just in that tier, so I'm not saying like Bangalore is the best over Conduit. None of these in the tiers are just in that order. I'm not sorting them. I'm just dumping them in that category. So back to Newcastle. Newcastle is below Lifeline. I think his upgrades are okay. Like the health stuff on the shields are meh. I like the speed of his tactical. I think that's so much better. That's one thing that was I kind of hated. Me, for some reason, I cannot figure Newcastle out. I might be the worst Newcastle player in existence. He may be really good. I've seen some amazing Newcastles. My buddy Ben is a really good Newcastle. I suck with him. I can't do damage. I can't do anything. I can't figure his ultimate out. It's really glitchy for me, like Ash. Like I feel like anytime I want to place it, like okay, I'm placing it there, and it's short. It goes where I don't think it's gonna go. It doesn't have the impact or block somebody off like I think it's going to be like, okay, this person's standing right there. I hit it, they don't get launched back, or for some reason they teleport on the other side with me and I'm dead anyway. I don't know. It's weird. I hate it. I'm not a fan, but he's very viable. Like the revives are epic. I mean, there's no other way to like, as far as like the revive protection. He offers a lot more than Lifeline, but I think Lifeline's abilities offer more than Newcastle. All right, Octane, man, like Octane's again like one of these ones where it's like, is he S tier or is he like E tier? I think he's kind of middle of the pack. I think he's really good. I think he got decent buffs. I like the double jump pad. I'm not a big fan of the like the tap strafing jump pad. It just doesn't quite work as well or as useful as like the double jump to me. So I like the double jump pad. I've gone back and forth on the other ability of like the better stem where it's a lot less stem damage in the explosives. The nice thing with the explosives is uh, if you're getting into places, you're going to take some like explosive damage, and that's the nice thing with Octane is just getting in and out, being that skirmisher. um, and being able to get in there, do some entry damage, and then getting out. I think that's what Octane is designed to do. I think the problem where Octane is not an A tier type of a legend is really bad octanes are just gonna get that dumb like I'm gonna rush to get all the loot, I'm gonna rush and get into a stupid fight, I'm gonna push a team 1v3 and I'm gonna get knocked and I'm gonna get ticked off and scream at my teammates. That's like that whole octane brain situation, and it's really really bad. There are amazing octanes out there, but man, like they're 90% of them are really bad and make really dumb decisions. So that's why I can't give him any higher than a C. I think his upgrades are decent. I love the double jump pads, so I think he's C tier. Again, just anybody who's an octane man, like just put yourself in a better situation, and don't blame others for your dumb decisions and saying like why aren't you here? It's because you got octane brain and ran into a team. Yeah, people were really really bad about taking responsibility for like the decisions they make. It's weird. All right, Pathy. I think Pathy is S tier. Uh, Something registered with me this season. Like every time I play Pathy now, like I'm getting his grapples. I got it. It only took me 20 seasons to get there, but I finally got Pathy. I love him. Um, so I hate fighting against really good Pathies, man. Like they're really tough. So many people are so much better than me, but I finally like figured out his grapple. The last upgrade on the first upgrade or the second upgrade, the tier one or tier two. I don't remember which upgrade it is, but the Nox, the grapple reset on Nox. I think it's the tier two upgrade. Is really useful. The zipline damage one is kind of dumb. It's very situational. It could be very impactful, like once every handful of games, but the Nox, the reset on Nox is so good. Um, and he offers like a lot of that utility. Like if you're playing ranked, I think he offers so much utility of being able to like with the beacons. He gives you so much ability there. So I really like him. Again, he can be very impactful to your team rotations and being able to do either the beacons. So if you've got a teammate who's got the ring ability, then you can get the scan ability. So it's either one is really cool. So yeah, I think he's S tier because he offers so much to a team and the ability to get in and out with that grapple. Rampart, man, like Rampart, what did I write down? Like I feel like Rampart was also kind of middle of the pack, so I think I'll put her C, but she could be very, very much B. She only got really upgrades this season, and she's obviously got those faster walls. She might be the best at just holding down an open area. Obviously with just the ability to put down those walls so fast. So you know what? I'm just gonna move her to B. I think she is very useful. LMGs are very viable this season. I'm still not a huge fan of the Spitfire right now, but like the Rampage is great. The Gold Devotion is on the ground. So Rampart, yeah, I mean, I guess she's B. She only got those upgrades. And she's been pretty good the last few seasons anyway. So yeah, I'll move her up to B. And then there's Revenant. So I think Revenant has to be S tier right now. I mean, his rework was very impactful. Hindsight now, like being a not a huge fan of Revenant, it frustrates me because I hate fighting Revenants because they've got so much more strength or so much more health and so much more ability to get in and out of a situation. So he's clearly S tier. And then when you fight like a conduit revenant, and these are the two that are by far the worst. Like when you see those on the other team, it's like, well, we're dead. Like we're not going to win this because they got so much more health than us. When you fight those two combined, like you're done. Like you're gonna lose that battle 99% of the time. So Revenant again, S tier until something happens. His abilities are just amazing. There's really nothing else to say about him. Seer, I mean, at the beginning of the season, he was super obnoxious because everybody was playing him for the challenges or whatever. He's definitely, he felt like he was like A tier, S tier. I don't think he's as good. He's still not great. He was pretty bad the last couple seasons. He might still be like B tier. What did I even write him down as? Seer, I put him in D tier. So I'm just gonna leave him in D tier. So he's D tier. Uh, that's just the way it is. Well, I don't even remember what I wrote. He's very annoying to go against, but I feel like he's very easy to evade. His ultimate, I mean, there's so many times where I think people don't use his ultimate right. They put it in bad spots where it's like I can easily shoot this, or you're not pushing through that ultimate. It's like they throw it and then they don't do anything with it. So it's like, well, that was a giant waste of an ultimate. I just haven't fought a good seer for a couple seasons. And again, it was obnoxious that first week of the season. But now all the seers have died off. And he's not a big deal again. I evade his tactical 90% of the time. So I don't find it to be that annoying. And most seers don't push when they do those things. It's like the crypto EMP. Every time I get EMP by a crypto, I'm waiting for the push that never happens. So you can tell like they're not communicating as a team. I'm playing against solo queued randoms that are just doing it to be obnoxious, or cryptos are doing it just to get a little bit of extra damage. That's it. So again, a D tier. Valk. Um, I want to say she's kind of S because she's uh, uh I'll put her in A tier. I think she's probably A tier. Um, you know, and I think the reason why is because she was kind of nerfed into the ground a little bit with her abilities, not into the ground, but with the evacs and then her nerf ultimate regardless. I think she definitely got downgraded. So I'll put her in A because the abilities now kind of buff her tactical and buff her ultimate, but there's still the evacs in the game. I think she's super used on big maps. So Broken Moon, she would be fairly useful, but on Storm Point, she'd be useful. World's Edge, maybe not so much. Vantage, I'm gonna put in F tier. I think she's buffed, but again, like very situational. You have to push as a team, and every time I'll play with Vantage, they're always way behind. So even if they do that damage, they're gonna get healed off. Or the Vantage is never available to push or doesn't push fast enough. So I think F tier. Watson, I think Watson is also A tier. She again only got buffed. I think she has a very high win rate. That's the way that I feel with her. It's like you may not get a ton of kills with her, but you're going to offer the most to your team as far as just like locking down an area, protecting it, being able to heal, preventing like nades and getting from naded out. You can put multiple pylons down or a better pylon to get nades back from them. She only got pretty strong buffs and good upgrades this season. So I'm going to say Watson is A tier. And then last but not least is Wraith, who she's on borderline A and S. I'll go ahead and say she's S tier because of that ability. And she only got the buffed abilities with her, especially like tactical based. I use like the upgrades I use are the tactical ones that just speed up her tactical. Because it definitely feels more like original Wraith. But Wraith is always going to be, I think, A tier or S tier. So I'll put her in that range. She's borderline A or S, kind of like how I feel with Valk right now. So yeah, that is it. Again, this is all very opinion based. So don't feel like these are 100% set in stone. It's just my opinion. You can feel it that way. So again, thank you very much for watching and or listening. Talk to y'all later.